Hey loves, let me know if y'all can hear me. I'm trying to get this little headpiece right, and I want to make sure y'all have sound and video. I'm gonna look a little ridiculous, but I'll take that for the team. All right, you can hear me, and I want to make sure that you all can see what I'm seeing. I literally have a phone on top of my head. So let me make this bigger. Let me take this down. Make this bigger and make certain that you all can see me. Now, I don't know why. I guess I have to scoot this a little further to one side of my head. Uh-oh, I think I just touched the button. Hold on. Un momento. All right. Well, at least you can see the top of my shirt right now. I'm going to put this camera back on my head. I guess I inadvertently turned off the camera. Okay, and that brings me back. So I cannot touch the screen on this camera at all, or it will pretty much shut y'all down. All right, I'm trying to put my lace front back on, aka my phone mounted or head mounted phone right now. All right. Hopefully this does it, because we're going to be doing a lot today. Let me know if y'all can hear and see me now in my hands, my magical hands. Can we still not hear or see anything? All right. Thank you, Shika B. I appreciate that, love. All right. So, yes, like many of you, I have been having this bad boy just sitting on the dock of the bay. And finally, we're going to go ahead and set this up today. Now, I have a camera attached to my head. So my best thing is I'm doing my best to show you exactly what I'm looking at. However, If you can't see something or something looks odd or weird or you need a closer look, let me know and I will do what it takes to show you that component. Okay, so this is purely setting this up from scratch, filling up the ink cartridges and playing with and testing out these chips and everything. Now I do feel a little odd, like my camera is going more to one side, but I don't think that's my camera. I think that's me. I think it's me. And I think it's because I'm trying to look at the camera. Or not look at the camera, but look at the monitor. There we go. All right, loves, let's do this. And then if I need to change angles or whatever, I will be periodically watching for the comments here. All right. Well, I'm actually going to look up some directions, believe it or not. Just because one printer I set up before. No, I'm not. This is a workforce. I know how these go. My Eco Tank I set up before, and I'm just taking off tape here, so we're just talking. I set up the Eco Tank, and I did not realize that I was supposed to put the ink in before I even initialized anything, turned on the system, and it was all because your girl thought she didn't need no instructions. So I'm not telling you this is exactly how you set it up, but this is probably how most of you are going to do it too. I'm looking for anything blue, any of this blue tape, and I'm removing it. The blue tape is strictly for packaging purposes. And you know what? I think I'm going to put y'all on the big screen so I can see while I'm walking around. Because I hope that you all can see what I'm seeing. And I have my camera or my laptop on wheels. So I'm hoping you can see what I'm seeing. All right, there we go. Anyone on Facebook, come on over to YouTube because I can't see your comments and or I can't see the names on Facebook. So if y'all come on over to YouTube, I can see those things. All right. And I didn't do the whole unboxing, i.e., you know, taking it out of the box and getting the little foam balls all over the place from the packaging. I did not do that, but I did save the untaping for you. Okay, so maybe this isn't an unboxing, but we can call this an untaping. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move my syringes for now. I won't need them just yet. Okay, I've removed all the tape from what I can see. All right, that's our back tray. That's where we can load our roll media back here. Let's pull the top open, see what we're working with. All right. And normally there's going to be a scanner. So I'm going to pull the scanner up. And there's a little bit of tape here in the scanner part. Get rid of that. And then this looks like we may even need to load the entire scanner unit. So I'm going to close the top and pick up the entire scanner unit. And now I can access the inside of the printer. More blue tape. Fun stuff. All right. And looks like a little bit of directions here. Looks like we're supposed to turn the printer on, then move the cartridge to where these two arrows line up, then open. So basically, don't try to open this in this position like I'm trying to do right now. Don't do that part. I'm getting that vibe from those instructions. All right, pulling off the blue. I think we have everything internally. I'm just checking around just to make sure. Last thing you want to do is start something up with a moving part tape down. I think that's good. And I did see some on the front. And I have my little printer here on wheels too. So everything should be able to move around to where you can see it. You just have to let me know if you cannot see something. This one that just has one tray. The 7820 has one tray. The 7840 has two trays. That is the only difference that I could see from the specs. Yeah, this camera is so heavy on my forehead. I can't do it. Well, I'm going to do it. I can't say I can't. I'm going to do it for this time. But after this, I feel like 50 Cent. You know how he looks like his forehead and his eyebrow area is just heavy? That's what my face feels like. I'm over here feeling like 50 Cent right now. Okay, let's see. This is just letting us know for the paper size for A4. Looks like we're going to expand this and push the paper up against this little back piece here. So we'll deal with that later. I'm just getting my tape off. Just move that over here for now. And I'll tape remove. Nope, there's more tape. But wait, there's more. Grab that. Get it off. This feels a lot smoother than the 7710s and 7720s and the 7210s and 20s. I like that. That feels smoother. Maybe they actually have some little bearings in there or something. I don't know, but it feels smoother. And then this part, this actually closes smoother. I remember that bottom tray, depending on what you're sitting on, can snag stuff, so that might be a little bit of an upgrade. Now, how this went back on, I did not pay attention. All right. Here we go. All right, everything has been removed. And do I have trash on the side? Nope. Oh boy, I'll just toss that later. My trash can is all the way. You know what? Let me just grab my trash can. With everything going on, just in case I need it. These are little collapsible bins there. Well, it's not even really a bin, it's just a frame, and you can put your trash bags on there. Super helpful, especially like for events and stuff where you can't bring big old bulky trash cans. Anyhow, I think I'm ready. Are y'all ready? Now, I am going to put the cartridges in, at least to initialize. The reason why is because if there's any little old thing wrong with this printer, if it even sneezes funny, I'm taking it back. You hear me? Yes. Oh, there's blue tape on the top near the back area. Did I miss that? Did I? On the top, the back area. Did I miss it? Charmaine, let me know if I got it. I'll spin this baby around and find it. Any little tape. Look out, tape, because I'm going to get you. I don't see any more tape. I might have got it, but let me know if I'm wrong. Noopsies. And sometimes there's also tape in this area. I don't see none. All right. Close that. Open the scanner one more time. I get paranoid about this whole tape situation. So if I am rubbing my paranoia of tape off on you, my bad. Or maybe your bad, because you're watching me. All right. So let's go ahead and get the power cable plugged in. It came with a power cable. It does not come with a data cable. So power cable, yes, it comes with this. Data cable, no, it doesn't come with this. I'm actually borrowing this one from the SG-1000. A data cable should do any standard data cable. And I'm just going to plug this directly into the computer because I don't like to set it up wirelessly to start with. I always like to hardwire a printer because it's easier to troubleshoot your issues if you just have your little old USB data cable, okay? So let's figure out where they go. First, I'm going to plug it in, and I'm sure it'll give me some instructions. Well, I don't know how sure I am because I was sure about that 15,000 setting it up, and I led you astray. All right, so let's, usually the plug is in the back. Oh, I was supposed to team lift this. Nobody told me that. I picked this up all by myself. I'm sure many of you did. Okay, so this goes, can you see? I gotta squat pretty low now. Okay, so this goes in here. Boom. All right, data cable's down there too. Now, I'm not gonna plug the data cable in, but since I'm already back here, let me see if I can show you where that is. Just make sure it lines up right shape. Got it in. I thought I had a big head. My head is obviously not that big because this camera keeps sliding down my forehead. All right, one of these days y'all appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to not plug in the data cable yet because I want to power it on first, make sure that I'm following the appropriate directions. I may even have to download the driver. We shall see. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Let me just download the driver. If you don't have a printer installed yet, the best thing to do, no matter what printer it is just go ahead and install the driver. So I'm just going to go to Epson. I'm just Googling Epson 7820 driver. Do not go to anything but the Epson website to get an Epson driver, please, Louise. All right. And even these ones that say like Epson dash printer and all of that stuff, I don't play with. As a matter of fact, I don't even put in the driver because these websites are so smart now. If you put in the word driver, they'll seek you out first. So just put in the Epson 7820 and you'll find Epson Workforce Pro 7820. Then scroll down. I don't know if y'all can see this right now, but I'm scrolling down. I forgot I could actually share this with you all. Let me show you what I'm looking at on the screen. Share screen. There we go. And I'm going to share the screen. All right. So this should be a little clear. Oh, these are out of stock now. Look at that. All right. So I'm going to scroll down. Usually it has an area for support. I'm going to click there. And I'm looking for the drivers and downloads. I'm going to go ahead and click there. All right. And they have apps for this as well, I guess, for printing from the phones. All I want is the basic driver. Well, this is what I do. I do download the drivers and utilities combo package. Okay. And the reason why I install that, just in case there's anything crazy I need, I'll have it, scanner, and all of that good stuff. And then later on, once I decide what's really necessary, I might delete some of the utilities that come with it. So I'm just going to put this on my desk at the top. Go ahead and save that. And let's click the executable file. We're going to say yes to allow it to make changes. Okay. Looks like it's going pretty fast. This one is a 7820, Nisi. And the only difference between the 7820 and 40 is just the double tray. Now, this one is not a double tray. It has one tray, And then the top thing that you saw me pull out is just like a paper catch. It's not an actual paper tray. But the 7840 is just slightly taller, but it's the same layout. It's basically the same exact printer, but with an additional tray. All right, so all of this I have to accept or I can't use the printer, so no need of reading it. I don't want you collecting anything at all. I don't want you express registering, and I don't even like to set up the auto updates. All right, now it says make sure the printer is turned on. Obviously, it's not turned on because it's not even plugged in. So let me scoot somewhere behind these printers and find us a plug. Oh, you know what? I have a plug on my laptop stand. So I know I've shown y'all this before. Usually this laptop has 2 little screens attached to it. And then it also, I don't know if y'all can see all this. It has a little cord, extension cord attached to it. Now, thing about it is, can I get down there and get to it with the camera on my head? This shall be interesting. Ugh. Y'all, I can't do it with the camera on my head. Hold on. And obviously, this little battery pack is not charging. Hey Blake, can you check this battery pack? It's not charging. Blake, can you check my battery pack? I don't think it's charging. Can you check my backpack, my battery pack? It's not charging. Hold on, yet another technical difficulty. My handy dandy backpack is not charging, so that's why my camera's about to die. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can plug in this power cord. Oh, did I press something on it? Can you get my camera stand? Is it charging now? Yes, it is charging now. So was it on before?
Yes, it was.
Oh, well, maybe
sure it wasn't charging all the time?
No, it had no little lightning bolt there. And then I just realized it said low battery. It was weighing down my forehead. Yeah, hand me that one. Y'all, my forehead can't take this camera, so we're going to put it on the stand. All right, thank you. I was trying to give y'all the close-up, but wasn't doing it for me. And hold on. I got to get a different type of mount now. Did you see my regular camera mount? There's always something with this doggone camera setup. There's one that's heavy. Yep, that's it. All right, y'all, give me a second. I'm going to set this camera up on this stand. But meanwhile, can y'all still hear me? I tried. I really did, y'all. I guess you don't realize how heavy your phone is until you try to mount it to your face. Yeah. that part. And y'all know I don't edit these videos, so one of these days we'll get a video editor to get all these bloopers out of the videos. But until then, you get to walk in my shoes. All right. All right, all right. Y'all say thank you to Blake because he is definitely helping get me out of the mud right now. All right, so now I have to turn my camera around. All right, we are charging. Whew. I think we're good. Let's see. All right, camera's on. Let me see. I didn't even check to see. Let me see if this thing left a mark. I think it left a mark on my forehead. Let me get out this light a little bit. But y'all should see what I do and how I look for y'all. If y'all can see how this camera look mounted to my forehead, maybe I should have showed y'all that before I took it off. So hopefully we'll get it at this angle and it will be good enough. I like to try to get it from first person angle because I know when I'm setting up stuff, when I hear, you know, to the left, to the right, I like to see at the exact angle that I am operating. So I like to see the hands as if they're my hands. So that's why I try to do the first person camera on the forehead, but we'll just get it how we live today. Okay. All right. So I'm still looking at the computer here. It says make sure the printer is turned on and it is not. So let's try this again. We've got the camera on the forehead. Let's plug it in. Y'all hear the knees crack-a-lacking? Put them in there. Do I have power? Let's see. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead, I guess. Let me see if I can make this even screens at the very least. So you can see what's going on here. All right, make sure the Epson printer is turned on. It is turned on now. I'm going to hit, it just said turned on. It didn't say set anything up yet, but I'm going to at least go ahead and hit English just so I don't end up messed up. It is summer. I like month, day, year. Today is 6/2/06/02/2021. Okay. I like the 12-hour format, and it is now 8:35 p.m. This is actually a pretty good sized little screen here. All right. So, don't know if I was supposed to do all that, but let's go ahead and hit next. And it's still downloading the required software. Printer driver. And it just said make sure the printer is on. The printer is not actually communicating with the computer yet because we don't actually have the USB cable, the data cable, connected to the computer yet. So I'm not worried about mistakenly transferring anything just yet. The instructions on the computer told me to make sure the printer was on, and I just went ahead and put in the data there. All right, now you do see that on the screen, it still says it's installing the required software. So I think that we're on track. Hey, Andrea, I see you, love. I see you. So yeah, whatever you did on Facebook allowed us to see you through StreamYard. So hey, my love. Been a busy, crazy day. But when is it not? If it's not a busy, crazy day, then I'm probably going to be complaining. So Let's just accept it and appreciate it for what it is. Now, why does it look like my numbers are crooked and stuff on this thing? Look like they did a little shoddy job on my little plate here. Let me be quiet. Let me just leave it alone. All right, it says install the ink cartridges that came with this printer. Close the scanner unit and the initialization begins. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this part. Like I said, it's independent from the data transferring from the computer right now. So I'm going to do what it tells me to do. I'm going to pick up the scanner unit. These are the cartridges that came with the printer. All right. And if you look on them, it says initial cartridge. So that is another reason why I want to make sure that I go ahead and put these in so that everything sets up properly. Let's do it. And the cartridge number is a 812-I, and I'm guessing that I is for initialization or initial cartridge. So let's go ahead and while this thing is loading, I think I'm going to make my screen bigger again so you can see more of what I'm doing. So let me take this one down for just a moment so that you might see what's going on here. Hopefully I can keep the view well enough for you all to see what's going on here. All right, so to open them up, now you do see the instructions I read before you open this part. Let's go ahead and make sure that these are lined up, and it is. That means it's safe to open. You open it any other time and this thing starts moving, you're liable to crack some pieces or mess something up, okay? So let's go ahead and tear these open. All right, and you also will see that there is a little yellow tab to remove. I don't know why I started with magenta. I'm not gonna start with magenta. I like to go left to right, so I'm gonna start with yellow. Because I work left to right and I don't like to try to jam anything in where my hand doesn't fit. Okay, so let's start with the yellow. All right, the sticker on the bottom, let's take that off. All right, and that's the only thing we have to remove. You see there is a chip on there. Now, some of you are basically using these chips and placing them on the refillable cartridges. I'm going to show you my little setup and hopefully that helps you all out a lot. It is expensive though, I'm not going to lie. Refilling this setup is very expensive. So that's the yellow. Let's go with the magenta. All right, so magenta's here. I'm going to remove the tape here. And I even heard that when I removed it. And so that's what it looks like. I'm going to place it here, and you're going to listen for it to click. You want to make sure it seats down in there good. Let's see. Next is Cyan. Again, we're going to remove the sticker. And it doesn't have the same kind of click that I'm used to hearing, so just make sure it's seated down in there real good. And of course the black, you will hear when you remove that tape, you hear the air enter the system. All right, black is in there. All right, I have all 4 cartridges in there. I'm making sure that they're all seated properly before I close the top. Once I close the top, then I will close the scanner unit. Let's see what it does. Now on my screen right now, it's telling me the Wi-Fi capable product is found. Do I want to connect it to the network automatically? I'm gonna say no for right now because I want to hardwire this in first, make sure everything works, and then later I can set up my Wi-Fi. So now let me share with you. Share my screen again. see which one. There we go. I wanted that one to be bigger this time. Okay, so this is where I want you to see that I'm not going to do Wi-Fi. I'm going to do via USB cable. Oh, I'm clicking on the screen. Hold on. Connect via USB cable. Let's go ahead and hit next. It says connect the computer and printer with the USB cable. Now we already installed the USB cable to the back of the printer. We just need to connect it to the printer. So let me grab that cord here. Make sure you can still see the printer fully. I'm just going to route the cord around the back of the machine and plug her on in. Move this out of the way. Okay. And once it connected, it told me that the printer is detected. Please wait for the setup to complete. Now the actual printer is just initializing right now. So the printer is doing nothing but doing what the printer does once you stick the cartridges in. I'll tell you what it says. It says, please wait. Do not turn the power off until initialization is complete. This takes about 4 minutes. So I'm going to let it do its thing over here for 4 minutes while I'm doing my stuff on this side with the computer. Then that way you get to see how it's set up on the screen as well as how it's set up for the printer. All right, so here it asks you whether you want to also install the scanner utilities and the manuals. I'm going to say no to the manuals. I do install the scanner utilities just in case Epson Scan has updated with the new printer, and that does help. So I'm going to do the scanner utilities. I'm not going to do the manuals because I can always look them up online. All right, let's go ahead and hit install. And give it that time. We're still initializing over here on the physical printer. And meanwhile, let me go ahead and get my materials ready to go ahead and put the ink in the cartridges. I have needles, I have gloves, I have ink. I may need something to actually cut the top. I don't think I have to cut the top off anymore, but sometimes I need something to just stab through it, so I get a little X-Acto knife. Just let you all know everything you might need. And then I'm going to go ahead and move my trash can. All right, it's asking me to print a test page. It's telling me on the computer that the initialization is complete. I'm probably not going to print a test page. I'm just going to hit next to make sure everything's good. Now it's checking the firmware. I do turn off my automatic updates for firmware and just updates in general for the software for Epson because I like to see if anybody else has any issues and then update. I don't like anything automatically updating. I don't even automatically update my Photoshop. I'm just one of those people that like to wait until everyone else's is updated to experience their issues. If they don't experience any bad issues, then I will update mine. All right, please wait. Do not turn off. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Now the printer says initialization is complete, and now I'm going to hit close right now. And it tells me to select the size and type of paper for the paper source. And I'm going to wait to fill that out because I'm going to do that on the big when I make that bigger. It says I need to update my printer's firmware. This takes several minutes and you cannot cancel the update. Do not turn off your computer or printer or disconnect the printer from the computer until the firmware update is complete. Otherwise, the printer may malfunction. When you are ready to start the update, click Next. Now it says I need to update my firmware. That sounds like a challenge to me, but I'm going to go ahead and update the firmware and hit Next. Regrettably so, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Because to me, if I just downloaded the driver, well, the driver needs to communicate with the printer. So the firmware is the software that's on the actual peripheral or the device. So this printer has its own little internal software, and that's what it's talking about updating. That's why it doesn't know that it needs updating until you connect it to the computer. So now my printer understands that it has outdated firmware. It's communicating through the internet with my computer, and it's updating the internal firmware for the device. Now it says it's unable to update the firmware. That is interesting. I'm not going to retry it because I'd rather just go ahead and skip that step, let it check my system, and I will install, or update my firmware later once I make sure that everything's good to go. But that is a little odd that it tried to update the firmware and then it pooped out on us. All right, so I am finished. I'm going to hit finish here. And now I'm going to take you back to the full camera screen. Now let's see what we have to do next. All right, so I'm going to try to update this camera angle so that I can get in here a little closer. Maybe you all can see kind of over my shoulder-ish. Yeah. There we go. I think that's good. All right, so right now, and I don't expect you to be able to read the screen, but it says to select the paper size for the paper source. I'm going to hit OK. I'm just going to leave everything 8.5 by 11 for right now, just to go ahead and whiz through this. We don't need to do the fax wizard, so I'm going to hit close for that. Fax is not set up. Remind you later. Please do not. So I hit no. And this should look very familiar if you had a 7210 or 7710, 7720. This to me looks extremely familiar. So I am going to, right now, I'm going to leave it alone until I get my cartridges completely set up, and then I will move on and move forward to update this. So for right now, I'm going to kind of move that over to the side, or maybe trying to figure out where I'm going to do my ink stuff for y'all, because this can be a little messy. So my goal is, do I have enough cable here? I think I do. My goal is to go ahead and get all of my cartridges filled and primed, and then we can go from there. So I still need you kind of looking over my shoulder. However, I think I need to get you a little bit closer. A little bit closer. So let me go ahead and grab what I need. I'm going to show you all. These are the chips. Y'all don't judge me. I look crazy right now because I was expecting to have a camera on my forehead. I think this thing did leave a dent on my forehead. Y'all can't see the lighting in here is real nasty. But yeah, I think I have a dent on my forehead from the camera. Pretty sure I do. But these are the chips. This lighting is so crazy. I apologize that you can't really see that well. There it goes. All right, so those are the chips, and they have the plastic on them. so that when you need to change them out, these are not auto reset chips. They're not ARC chips. So with the cartridges, this is how it comes. They come with the chips on them, but there's this plastic housing on them. And I'm really sorry that this camera is giving us all of this crap. It's not the camera, it's the lighting in here. So they already have chips on them, but once Epson reads a cartridge is empty, you're going to have to take that chip off and replace it. And what people have been doing is buying the empty 802 XL cartridges, and then they literally buy a set of standard Epson cartridges, pry the chips off of those, and then put them onto these empty cartridges. We're not going to do that. We have the chips that we can replace, and then we also have the refillable cartridges. The bad thing is right now the chips are almost the same price as the cartridges, believe it or not, but the shipping is a little cheaper, so it ends up being a little bit cheaper to replace the chips on these with this process than it is to just replace the cartridges every time. Okay, so, and then plus, once you get a cartridge really primed good, you don't have to worry about priming it again, usually, unless you just let the cartridge run dry. So I like the idea of having a refillable cartridge because once I get ink flowing in it, I'm not concerned about, you know, whether it has that air trapped inside of the cartridge. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. Let me get my X-Acto knife. I'm trying to think if y'all can get in a little bit closer. Maybe I can move this Sawgrass printer out of the way, and I can get y'all out of this nasty light. Let's see. Got a lot going on here. Got my laptop on wheels, Sawgrass on wheels, the Epson printer on wheels. So we should be able to make something work. All right, let's see what we're dealing with here. And I've been playing with the Sawgrass. I couldn't do the video where I set up the Sawgrass because Sawgrass did not give me permission to share the video recording. So I'm going to do that at a later time. I think y'all are going to be excited because we are going to have some fun with the Sawgrass printers as well. The SG-1000 is what I have. All right. So now I should be able to get y'all in here real good. Then you should be able to see my work surface. All right. I'll periodically also be looking over to see if y'all are asking me any questions in the comments. So let me pull that down. And let me know if you can see what's going on here. All right, so X-Acto knife and inks. And I'm kind of going to use, I don't know if I want to use that as this little, just a little something in case I get ink on something. I have things underneath here that I don't want to get ink on. Believe it or not, this is not a table. This is actually a bunch of those stackable bins, and then I have something across the surface of those. So I don't want to get my bins messed up. So you may want to put something down, paper towels, something, and you know what? Let me go grab paper towels. That would be great. All right, so let's run this down before we move on. I also have these little things here that are handy dandy. I make these when I go out to events, like pre-make some of these, and they come in handy when I'm refilling like on demand, but I probably should get some a little bit bigger because these cartridges are bigger than your 72 10, your 7710, 7720. I'm taking a shrink wrap off right now. All right. And place it down. I'm going to place these beside the, I guess I need to place them a little higher for you. I'm going to place these beside the 7210, 7710. Basically, this is the 252 with the XL. I want you to see, let me throw this paper away. I want you to compare these sizes. All right, so that's a pretty significant difference. They look about the same width, but it is quite a bit bigger, longer. Now, as far as the black cartridge goes, I don't think it's beating this double XL cartridge from the 252 set, but I think they do have a bigger one for this one. It's just that I don't think they have the chip for it, or I'm not aware that they have the chip for it, so that's why I elected to keep with the 812 XL for the black and not the double XL. All right, and I'm actually going to use this one to hopefully prop those up for you. All right, Mr. Camera is kind of in my way, so I'm going to try to move around them. The replaceable chips don't work on the 252 cartridges, but the 252 cartridges, I have these online, and they're ARC chips. They're ARC stands for ARC, automatic reset chip. So these have ARC chips. The new printers, they do not sell the 77 10s and 20s anymore. Unfortunately, they are discontinued. Even though we complained about them, they were, some of us, those were our little babies, okay? And now that those are discontinued, the replacement for them is the 78 20s and 40s, but it is extremely hard to get the chips. And I'm talking about just even these are one-time chips. They have to be replaced every single time the printer reads the ink is empty for that cartridge, okay? So I'm just putting y'all up on game right now. You may want to consider all of these factors before you buy this printer, okay? If it were up to me and I had the funds to go ahead and put up the money to get the EcoTank printer, I can't necessarily say I recommend the EcoTank 15,000 any longer, because I see that they have some coloring issues when it comes to, and a lot of people are having like printhead issues and that sort of thing. Some people are not having that issue at all, and they use the True Colors ink. And honestly, I think people are having issues that aren't using high quality inks like True Colors, because the inks are very easy to clog those printheads, because they were initially dye colors. And the only color that was pigment for the 15,000 was the black. Everything else was dye. So I think that does affect the printhead. It does affect the way that the printer believes that it's supposed to, blend the colors together. I believe that is an issue, but that's just my belief. Nobody's confirmed it. All right, so 15,000 is about a $500 printer, but it's an EcoTank. You don't have to worry about cartridges. My suggestion is the 16650. It is a $1,200 printer, but that $1,200 printer prints three times faster than the 15,000, the 77 10s and 20s. Okay, I print a 13 by 19 page in about 30 seconds. You heard that right, 30 seconds. I print a full. Let me show you. Here's one. I printed this full sheet. This one actually, because it has so much white space between it, took about 28 seconds. Okay, this full sheet, 13 by 19 sheet, took about 28 seconds. Try printing that on the 77, 10s, and 20s, and I'm sure you're going to have an issue. Now, what we're going to try out, once we get this going, maybe I'll print this same print on the 78, 20 and see about how long it takes. Okay. Which reminds me, I'll turn on the heat press, and maybe I'll even press up with the True Colors ink in there. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and open up these packages. So I'm going to use a little X-Acto knife to get through this process. And your ink may or may not come in this vacuum seal pack. It's something new that we're trying out, to just in case there's ever some rough handling of the packages, then you can end up with a bottle leaking. And instead of it ruining, everything in the pack, it will just, kind of self-destruct. So that's what we're trying out. So if you start seeing these packagings, let me know if it's better or it's more hassle. If you don't like it, just let me know. I may or may not listen to you, but most of the time I do at least regard what it is that you're saying. All right, so I'm going to put this down just a little bit so y'all can see a little bit more of the front view, what we're working on. Trying to get it together over here for y'all. All right. So what I like to do before I get started with anything else is go ahead and cut up some pieces of paper towel, just so I have some small pieces and I'm not dealing with a bunch of big old balled up pieces of paper towel. So I'm just creating a few small pieces. That way, when I need to clean things up, I have some little bite-sized pieces. Well, you should be biting paper towels, but you know what I mean. I have a set of needles here. I have 4 needles. And I'm going to go ahead and get... I'm going to show you how you can pull the ink from here. But really and truly, once the ink gets a little lower in here, I like to pour it into little cups. And I like to put the cups inside of something sturdy, like a coffee mug or something, so I don't mistakenly knock over a whole bunch of ink. But I think we're just going to rock with this as is. If you notice, these are actually EcoTank tops. So if you have an EcoTank printer, boom, you're done. You just flip, you basically remove this seal here. There, and sometimes there's going to be a seal both places, so there'll be a seal protecting the top and this part. It just depends on how it separates for you. And let me put on my gloves. I almost never put on gloves, but let me tell y'all to put on gloves, and at least there's proof in the YouTube world that I did use gloves. Okay, so that's just going to keep ink from getting under your nails and staining your fingers. Okay, so let's see if I can manually just peel that off, which sounds like I can. I'm good. So I just peeled the metallic layer and the foam or paper protective piece at the same time. And I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. And I'm going to tell you like this. I have people who have told me that they basically use like one needle and they just go from the lightest to the darkest color, which is what I should have done. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that first. The lightest color is easy to see. That yellow is a lot easier to see. The black is harder to see. So I'm going to go yellow, magenta, cyan, and then black. Is that better? So we just see this one at a time. All right, so I am checking to see which is going to be my fill hole. And normally, if you take out both, don't go by which one has which color, because some manufacturers might switch it up and then you'll just be setting yourself up. But what I like to do is I like to put my needle on. And it's a blunt needle. You aren't going to hurt yourself with that. Hopefully you're not going to hurt yourself with that. It's flat. Okay. And I just kind of stick my needle down, whichever one the needle goes down in. And I find this is easier to tell people, because if you say, hey, the back or the front, and I'm like, what's the front? What's the back, sir? Like, I don't get it. Depends on which way you put your stickers and which way you hold it and what time of the day you woke up. Okay. So if you put your needle in there and I can go down in there with the needle, that's my fill area. If I get stopped, it's real short. That's my vent area. Don't put the ink in there. It's going to just come right out of there. Okay. So I'm going to fill here, and that is closer to the chip side. Okay. Now you might think of this will be where you feed, and that's where you excrete waste or let out a little air back there. So if that's how you want to think about it, that's your air release. And this is where you feed. This is where you feed the ink into. Okay. That's where you eat. That's where you pass the air through. Okay. If that makes a lot of sense to you, then use that analogy. But to test, take your needle, and you should be able to see that I can get it down there. All right, so I'm going to use this set of cartridges kind of just to give me something to prop up what I'm working on. Get those out the way. And I want you to be able to see. So I'm trying to lean it just a little bit, but I also don't want it to fall. Let's get it together. All right, so I am going to go ahead and remove. I don't want to keep doing this over and over again, so let me just remove all of the. And see this one, if you were using this for EcoTake, see how the seal, the metal seal separated from the paper seal. And some people will be like, oh, well, I took the seal off and then I popped it in my EcoTank and it won't fill. And that's because there's something right there. If it won't come out, you can take your needle, poke it through there and pull it out. I like to grab my handy dandy X-Acto knife, poke it through there and just kind of pull it out. You see that? And now the ink will flow through to your EcoTank. Just a little tip while I'm here. All right, so I'm going to pull off that metal there. It's a little harder with the gloves on. But I'm going to follow the rules. I'm going to keep my gloves on. If I can't get it off that way, you can use the X-Acto knife and just kind of use the edge to lead it around. Then you're going to have something to clean the X-Acto knife with afterwards. All right. That's. So let's go ahead and start filling. So hopefully you can see very well everything that I'm doing. I'm going to take my syringe, place it into the ink. And like I said, this is a fuller bottle of ink, so I'm able to just pull ink right out of here. But I do, and I'm going to actually hold this while I'm pulling it out. That's about 8 milliliters right there. And remember where I said the fill hole was. It is easier if you have a cup to just pour a little bit in there, then pour the remainder back into the bottle when you're done, because this is probably going to take a few fills. And whatever you do, don't let your cartridges run dry. So, like Boyz II Men says, let's not wait till the cartridge runs dry. All right. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life. Don't do it, baby. Sing with me. Ooh, no. Anybody got the bass? All right. It's too late for me to be trying to sing. I only sing well in the shower around this time. Because you know, the acoustics be hitting. All right, so let's go ahead and see if it's going to take one more 8. And if it doesn't take the full amount, that's okay. We don't want to overfill. You saw that little bubble pop up there. That means we're getting close to being full. It's pushing air out. I am going to put a good deal of ink in there because we're going to pull that air out. Oh, yeah. We're not going to let that air just sit there. All right. And you might want to have like a little plate or something, a little paper plate or something that you can put your syringes on so that you can wash them all at once. And I do wash them and reuse them. All right, so yellow may be done. Let's see. Once we go ahead and I'm going to, bottom is already sealed. Now, if I was priming this, if this was a cartridge that I was priming and it was already pierced down here, which if you've installed it into the printer one time, it's pierced down there, it's done. Then I use my glove fingers, and that's why I do use a glove. And I plug that bottom with the glove finger, and it acts as a seal. Okay, so if you're refilling these and you need to prime them, just place your finger down there with the glove on, with a good glove like these natural gloves, and it's going to make a seal for you. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to plug the air. Oops, that ain't even the one. Like this one's tricky. It has an extra little hole in here. And I'm sure that's for air or serves some purpose. I don't think ink is coming through there. But this one where you filled, you can take your syringe. And in this case, I'm going to take the same syringe. I'm not going to mess up any extra syringes, but it's going to be a little messy because it already has the ink on it. And while the plug is in the air hole, so air, that should be sealed there. I'm just going to kind of pull up. I'm trying to see how I can give y'all the best angle here. And you see, I pulled it back down, and it pulled back in there. What I'm trying to do is actually trying to pull a little bit of ink out. See that? A little slowly. It's pulling ink. It's pulling ink. And you can actually see that, you know, when you suck the sides of your cheeks in, when you're trying to look all skinny and you just suck your cheeks in, it's actually sucking in that plastic line in there. So that's how it's letting me know that it's pulling the air out. And really, I should be pulling this out with the air. You heard that air? And let me keep my yellow open for this. Because what may happen is you may end up pulling out some ink, and you don't want to waste it. That ink is still good and fresh. Go ahead and throw it back in the tank. All right, let me get my little chippies out of the way. All right, so let's try this again. Back is plugged. You see how now it's so much easier for me to pull? Yeah, I'm pulling a lot of ink out of there now. And that's because I've already pulled out most of the air. All right, so pulling that out. And I'm going to put that ink back in. Now at this point, you've pretty much pulled out the air. And that's why I said I was putting a really good deal of ink in there. I can top it off again. And as a matter of fact, that is what I'm going to do. Just to make certain that I have plenty of ink in here and it does not run out of ink. Don't do it, baby. Ooh, no. I think I did a little bit better that time. What y'all think? All right. So this has air in it. I'm not going to introduce that air back into my system. I'm going to tilt my bottle and I'm going to pull ink, and I do not want to see air in there. You only need a little bit to top it off. You don't need a full needle again. Full 10 milliliters. This is probably maybe 5, if that. No, probably like 2. Yep, 2. All right, so I'm letting a little more ink in there. That's it. Now the last thing that I am going to do is make certain that I clean this top off. When you have refillable cartridges, you want to take care of them, so keep them clean. All that gunk sitting around places is just a clog waiting to happen. So take care of them, okay? So that's good. Now what I'm going to do is take my yellow tab and put it up front. That is not where it originally was, but I like to keep the color ones. I keep the clear ones on standby, okay? Just in case I need to transport a cartridge or I lose one of these, I have my clear one, but I like my color one. So I take my color one from the back or from the air hole, and then I take it and put it in the fill hole, okay? And that's ready to install. All right, so I took my time with that one. Hopefully we can run a little faster on these other ones. I'm gonna go ahead and close up this ink. It is still good. If y'all haven't tried True Colors ink, please try it out. We're gonna do a True Colors challenge, and I'm gonna give y'all this free color chart that has skin tones and colors. You're gonna download them, and I'm trying out different color profiles. Like I'm doing a lot of research for you all to figure out what's best, because I don't care what anybody tells you. They'll tell you, oh yeah, my ink works in any printer, no color profiles. But come on, y'all, it's the same ink, and each of these print heads and printers do have their own, formulation of how they combine the Cmyk to get color. So it's a little insane for us to believe that one magic set of ink is going to work flawlessly and the same way in all other printers. Now I will tell you this. I tell you don't need a color profile for the TRU ink because it's going to give you great representation of colors no matter what printer you're printing on, if it's a desktop printer. And I'm talking about the 7210s, even if you have the old school Workforce 30s, down to the EcoTank. I've used mine in my EcoTank 15,000. It's still running to this day. My 16650 EcoTank, that's my baby, and I use the ink for that. But there are some very subtle differences between printers, and that's what I'm starting to notice, especially when it comes to the light greens and the light kind of cyans and seafoam type of colors. So those are the colors. Like the reds come out exquisite no matter what printer you're printing on. These reds come out better even than the Sawgrass reds for the TRU ink. Now I have tested those against one another, and we're going to do a versus challenge. If y'all tell me y'all want to see a versus challenge, we're going to do a versus. We're going to do a versus with the Sawgrass 1000, 7820, 7720. I have a 16650. I have a EcoTank 16650. I have an EcoTank 15,000. So y'all tell me y'all want to do a versus, we'll do a versus. Okay. I'm going to play like Swiss beats up in here, okay? So let me know if y'all want to see a versus. Tell me in the comments that y'all want to see a versus. I'm bright. Where is... where are the rest of my needles? I know I took them out talking. Oh, they're still in the bag. All right, let's grab those, pull them out. Let's see what's going on. All right, so we don't need these little covers right now. I'm just going to go ahead and get all of those off and out of the way. And if I move a little fast, y'all let me know if I need to show something better. But I think I showed it all the first time. And I want to go ahead and get through this part. So if there's something that you missed or questions you have, please stop me. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to tilt and pull. And I'm actually going to hold it down here so I have something to hold on to. All right. I'll turn so you can at least see that part. And you know what? I didn't even get my cartridge ready. Cartridge ready. And me place that down for just a moment. Un momento. All right, so we're taking the clear out. We're taking the color out. And what we're going to notice is which one is my fill hole, the one that I can actually fit the needle into. If it stops me, that's the wrong direction. All right, so I'm in there good. Go ahead and fill. And I believe last time it took us about 4 fills. I'll set it right there so you can kind of see. The yellow is the easiest to see when it fills, and the darker colors get a little harder to see. I'm trying to hold that stable for you. Let's see how far we're getting with the second fill. And be careful, there's a little plastic bag in there. So if you puncture it, being a little too rough, then you're not going to have that vacuum seal. Your cartridge is not going to work. So please be careful. Okay, so let me focus and pull this ink out right now while I'm fussing at y'all. That's 8 milliliters there. I think that's going to be good enough to seal this off. Of course, we need to remove that air. And when you purchase the ink, it is automatically going to come with the needles. Pop that bubble. Here we go. All right, so once you start seeing it bubbling up, that's your indication that it's pretty much ready to burp. So we're going to burp it. So let's go ahead and grab a little napkin here. Clean up just a little bit so I can see what's going on. I don't want to miss and spill that ink there. And let's go ahead and plug up. We'll use the clear to plug up the air hole. Remember, it's in the very back. That little one in the middle, just think of it like a belly button. It doesn't do anything. So that's your belly button. That's your mouth. That's your tutor. All right. So let's go ahead and remove. And maybe I should have used 2 sets of needles here, so I wouldn't have to keep taking this off. But I want to be realistic to your experience. And yes, you're going to have to, with 1 set of needles, you're going to have to remove, or 1 set of syringes, you're going to have to remove that needle. All right. Let's see if I can show you this pulling process. Now, if it is a new cartridge, you don't have to put your finger down here and plug it because it's already sealed off. If it's not a new cartridge, I'm going to show you my little trick. I hold it firmly there so that while I'm pulling it, my finger is plugging that hole down underneath here. That's where the printhead goes. So let us pull air. I see the cheeks sucking in, or the bag kind of suctioning. I feel it. I'm going to pull it out. You hear that noise? It goes like, ah, kind of the reverse of an eye. It kind of goes like a little kiss. All right. So I heard a little air. That's good. I'm going to do another one. And it fits snug in there, so you don't need any special adapter or anything like you did with the big boy cartridges. You have to have an adapter to prime it to pull the air out. All right, let's do it again. I'm going to pull. This time I feel, am I getting any ink yet? Nope. So I'm going to pull it out. I heard it again. Just in case any ink came out, I'm going to do that over the container. And one more again. Okay, that time I'm pulling ink. When you pull ink, it's like gold, liquid gold. And you don't need to pull a whole bunch of ink, but you just need to, once you start to see the ink come out, you know it is primed. Okay. If you want to get real comfortable, pull some more ink out, but then you're going to have to replace some more. And like I said, you'll have to, if you want to really top it off. Now this one is good. Like this one is really good. I'm not going to top it off, but you can absolutely put a little bit more there. All right. So let's clean up. All right. Now I am going to take my colored tab and place it in the feed hole. Then I'm going to remove my air plug, okay? And I have 2 cartridges set up. All right, so let's go on about our business and get this cartridge number 3, which is our cyan. We'll go ahead and remove the clear, remove the color, plug. I'll turn it this way so you can see what's going on here. Let's remove the seal from our cyan. And if I can't get that to peel off immediately, I'm just going to cut it. I'm not going to fool with this thing tonight, y'all. I've been putting this off for so long. I want to go and get her done. All right. So, Shakia has a good idea. She says that I can leave the needle pretty much in the bottle and it with the eco tank top on, and it is easier to fill the needles up. And she says I can leave the needle in there. Okay. So I wouldn't worry about that damaging this inside because honestly, if you're using these needles, you don't have an eco tank anyway. So it's not like you're going to like stretch this out or damage this anyway. If you look, there is like a little separation here, a little cutout that allows for the ink to kind of, it's by gravity feed method. So basically when you turn the bottle upside down in the eco tank system, it glunk, 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 glunk. And yes, that's a technical term. If you did not know, glunk, 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 glunk is definitely scientific. So it glunks down into the eco tanks or the reservoirs, and that's how it fills those up. And that's why it automatically stops, because the way that gravity feed works, once it's full, it's not going to continue to pour more into it. Okay, so that was a good explanation, I think. The glunk glunks. What do y'all think? All right, so I'm going to see what Shakia is talking about. She says I can fill this way and tilt it with the needle down in there. Let's give her a shot. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Thank you, my love. Look, and it came out clean. Boom. That's all I needed right there. And I can leave it in there. And you know what? I thought about that, but I was like, I've never tried that before. I love to freestyle stuff on a tutorial and mess things up in front of people. Why don't I try it? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to teach them the bad way like I did with that 15,000 where I told y'all to plug that baby up before we put the ink in it. Anyhow, I'll rag on myself first. All right, so let's go ahead. I think we did 3 good ones on the last one. The first one, I think I did a little more. So it might be a little more than 3. All right, so let me figure out where I'm going to put my hands so y'all can see what's going on. All right, so I'm tilting, and I'm tilting on faith. All right, Shakia, I'm tilting on faith. Ooh, okay. I like it. All right, so Cyan, what you talking about, boy? What, 3? I think we can get this in 3. I did a little over 8 that time. I don't try to get 10 because if you try to get too bold, you'll end up getting the Hercules hand and getting a little too strong and pulling this whole back out of the syringe. And when I tell you that's a mess, I won't tell you that I know from experience, though. It's a mess, though. All right, so now I'm getting a little air, so I'm going to tilt the bottle a little more. We're going to tilt a little more on faith. See if we get to that 8. Oh, yeah, I like this. Shakia, thank you. All right. One more. Oop, there we go. You're burping. All right, so I'm going to leave it right there. Let me clean this up a little bit so I can see what I have going on. All right, so I'm looking pretty full there, but of course I need to prime. Some people tell you don't have to prime. I am a skeptic when it comes to priming. I don't like no air in my lines. I don't like air bubbles, misprints, missed lines on my nozzle checks, none of that. All right, and like Shakia says, if I can leave that in there, then technically I can just twist that puppy out and let her sit. Look at that. All right, time to pull this air out. Time to get serious. It's business. Okay, so before I pull the air out, I need to plug my air hole. All right, put my syringe in the feed hole. And you can even listen. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it sounds like a little creaky. That's how I know it's a good fit. Now this is like pulling ink almost immediately. And you can even let it pop back and see. Pull it again. Yeah, that's a good seal. Y'all see that suction there? And that vacuum bag inside of there? All right, so I'm gonna pull it out while it's full of air. Listen to it breathe a little bit. Now, I just have a little bit of ink. Let's see if that makes it back into the bottle. Perfection. Come on. One-handed operation. There we go. All right, let's do it one more time. I think one more time we're going to have it. Pull a little air. I see it pulling. I don't see any ink this time, so I'm going to pull the air out. Listen to it kiss. And let's do this one more again. There it goes. Come on, baby. I see you pulling. I see you pulling. There we go. I got a little bit out that time. Uh-oh. Enough to fill that up. I'm going to pull it one more time. There we go. All right. I think I'm happy with that. So I can just permanently, well, I wouldn't permanently leave that needle in there because I feel like it would dry out. So don't do that. But yeah, wash your needles out and stuff. Let's see. I want to clean up this front before I plug it up. Go ahead and wipe that down. All right, let's plug them up. Take out the air vent. Now, if you're going to store these, yeah, keep the air vent in. But if you're going to go ahead and install them, take the air vent out so you don't get confused, and put that into your system with no no air being able to pull. It will definitely pull air into your print heads. All right, last one, black. Let's take out our color tab. Let's take out our clear tab. Boom, boom. Let's go ahead and prep our bottle. I like this little idea of keeping the top on. They are, she says, I got you, boo. They are, the cartridges and the replacement chips are on the Innate Lab website. There are a few right now. They're going to be coming in a little at a time because, I forgot, I already took that seal off of that one. Because they are extremely expensive. I don't intend on just super stocking them. So what I will do is I will have, I'll have a price for, and this is what I'm going to start doing with pretty much everything, including inks, blanks, that sort of thing. I have a price, like if you want it now, like, hey, it's in the United States, in stock, it's coming to you for this price. If you can wait 2 to 3 weeks for something, then I'm going to have special pricing. Okay. And I think that's going to help a lot of people out that are, you know, they plan ahead of time, they'll be able to save without having to wait for a flash sale, and they'll be able to get much better prices. And if you need it now, shoot, you just need it now, and I'll have it available. What I do have available, you'll be able to purchase right then and there. All right, and we usually get orders out within maximum 2 to 3 business days. Things have been crazy lately, even with getting our stuff from overseas. So I don't know if you know, COVID effect in India like caused another big impact with shipments and stuff, but we had orders backed up. But I think we're back on schedule again. All right, so let's do this. Now this time I'm gonna take the leap this time. This is the leap. Shakia says I could tilt it. Don't be afraid. Let me tilt it. Well, first let me get it to where I can pull out the stopper. I don't like that air in there. There we go. There we go. Give me that black, that true black. All right. Still a little air in there. And I heard it. All right, in the front to the feed hole. All right, so that was 1. We're gonna see if we can get this in 3. Let's make sure we get a full 8 this time, maybe even a little more. Here we go, I'm about 9. I'm good. That's 2. Let's go for 3. And I think I can get a little bit more in there. I think it'll help me with the priming process. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Maybe like 2 milliliters or so. Now it gets a little hard to see, especially with the black, with whether it's full or if you have it tilted just a little bit, can cause you a little issue. All right, so let's plug in the back with the clear. Let's grab our needle without, or grab our syringe without the needle. And of course I just put ink all over my fingers or my gloves. I'm gonna close the feed hole. Let's pull a little bit. And because I fed more ink into it, it definitely pulled out ink faster. Yeah. Again, I'm just going to test to make sure I pulled out enough air. Yeah, because I'm pulling ink already. There we go. I think I'm good on that. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my little pieces, clean that up. And let's close that completely. Remove the air vent. And we have a set. All right, so I'm going to clean those out later, but I am definitely going to close up my inks. And what I was telling you, like as far as topping off, these little ones here actually come with needles on the bottle, and they are super convenient. If you pre-fill these, you have some funnels and pre-fill these, especially like if you're on the road. Or I just have like to have a set of these when I had my 7720. I'll give you a hint, I don't really use the 7720s anymore, but at one point in time I had like 4 of them simultaneously. And I would have little bottles like this so that when it came time to fill, especially while I was backed up or, you know, whatever was going on, I wouldn't have to go with the syringes. I would just pull out these handy dandy bottles and go ahead and top off my inks. Okay, so I think we're ready. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if y'all have any questions before I move on. All right. So let me get y'all to where you can see the printer again. One of these days, y'all, we're going to have a real camera person. We'll have the works. Y'all won't have to watch my bloopers. Y'all might get some edited videos. Oh my goodness. But until then, I appreciate y'all for loving me the way that I am. I sure do. Or at least watching me the way that I am. All right, so I am going to tell this printer, hey, I got some new cartridges. What do you think about that? So we're going to try these out. Like I said, this particular batch is my first time trying out. So let's see. Maintenance. So let me tell y'all what I clicked on. So home, just in case you're not on the home screen, if you scroll all the way to the end, you'll see settings. I'm going to click on settings. Then I'm going to go to maintenance. And if you don't like the way I say maintenance, join the club of my best friend and brother. All right, so let's do ink cartridge replacement. I've never touched this printer or seen this printer before, but this is pretty much the same as the 7720s and 7210s, all of those. All right, so let's replace the ink cartridge. Let's do it. Moment of truth. Y'all are watching me live, so if I mess up, it is what it is. All right, I'm going to wait till it stops moving. I will never stick my hand in that thing while it's moving. Again, it has happened before. And I thought that I was clear. I was in the clear. All right, so I'm guessing when these are lined up, that's how you know it's ready to open up. And let's do the do. I'm gonna, like I said, install from left to right. That's my kind of way to do things. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out. And I just gotta try to show off holding these while trying to remove the others. So let me do one thing at a time. Y'all know I don't multitask very well. And I'm pushing on the clip in the front, and then I am lifting it up. There we go. Looked a little harder. I don't know. I just feel like this carriage is moving when I do that. I've never had them in so tight that basically I feel like I'm lifting the carriage. So I wanted to be careful, but I guess I'm not hurting anything. Told y'all when you use your Hercules hands, sometimes you end up messing something up. And baby, with how much these cartridges cost, I'm not trying to mess nan one of them up. Okay. All right. So let's pull that out. Let's start with our yellow. Now these do click when you put them in, so you'll know if they're in there. There we go. And last one. Heard that clicking? Whew, I'm a little nervous, y'all. I'm nervous. Let's pull this down. When I tell y'all, it has been a hard time, a long journey on road trying to get these things for y'all. I didn't want to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not. But if y'all present a problem to me and enough of you have the problem, I feel like we as a community need to pull together and solve it. So too many of you all were saying that your 7720s had 10s and 20s had kind of pooped out on you, and you were forced to go to the 78 20s and 40s, kind of premature to having the art chips and the refillable cartridges that are, really ready for the system. So I definitely feel you on that. And then you're not quite ready to do a, $500 or $1,200 machine. So I get that too. But I will tell you, maybe when we do the verses, I'll do a cost analysis of each print. So we'll do time and cost. And then I'll also give my my ideas for the color. Now I will tell you this. I feel like the 7710s and 20s actually have better color. Not lying, better color than the 16650 that prints really fast. It's only a couple of gamuts that it really captures better. And like I said, when we're talking about these teals, these light teals and these light bright greens, it's a reduction in color gamut for those machines for me. And I'm working on some workarounds to get those colors a little bit more accurate. But as soon as I know, y'all are going to know. We are actually going to do a class where I give you all this print file. Okay, so we're going to print them out with our True Colors ink. And well, I want you to print it out with whatever ink you have. If you don't have True Colors ink, it's fine. I just want you to tell me basically what happens when you do it with your ink. And then the True Colors challenge is going to be where you basically try the True Colors ink in comparison to whatever ink you were using before, and you let me know the God's honest truth. Okay. I'm not telling you to get out there and make no infomercials for me or anything to that effect. I just really want to know how you feel and how it works. Okay, well, while we did all that rambling, it looks like we're in there like swimwear. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. I haven't done any printhead tests or anything, but we are going to have to pretty much run the a little bit of that standard pigment ink through. And let's go ahead and go with our sublimation ink. So in order to do that, I am going to run my Cmyk test print. That is for free on the Innate Lab website. I usually run that about 5 pages of that, 5 to 6 pages of that. Clears, like, let's say you're doing the True Colors challenge and you want to go from XYZ ink to True ink, then you print about 5 or 6 of these Cmyk pages, and usually that's enough to pull back the old ink through and start in your new ink. And usually you can tell because you'll see the difference in color. All right, so I'm bringing my laptop back over. And we're going to do, let me pull that back up on the big screen. And then that way we can go to the Innate Lab website and get, I'm just going to show you where it is because I think I already have it on my computer. Where is my mouse? Oh, let me take these gloves off. Got these good old sweaty hands. All right, so let's go. Oh, my mouse is turned. There we go. There's my mouse. All right, so on the Innate Lab website, if you just type in the word free, I see people type that in all the time. But you'll see the free resources. And one of the free resources is a Cmyk Print Daily. I tell you that because I don't print daily. I'm trying to tell you how to be better than me. You feel me? So go ahead. Even if you don't print every day, try to print one of these every other day that you're not using your machine. It'll save you from just wasting ink from purging and trying to do print head cleanings and reinitializing every time you turn the printer off and on. But try to print one of these. I say print daily so that you feel bad. You know, like the daily contacts, you feel bad when you wear them too long because they're called dailies. So these are dailies. So at least print, every other day, maybe every third day, something that you're not using this. It'll help you out tremendously. It also helps you to kind of clear out the previous ink from the system. So let me see if I have one of these somewhere on my system. It'll pull up. And honestly, what I might do is go ahead and just straight up do my Where's my Photoshop? I think I'm gonna do my little color chart because that's what I want to do anyway. I think I turned on the heat press. I think a lot of things tonight. I think I said think a lot. All right, so let's see. Photoshop, where are you? And my laptop's trying to act shy now that I'm on all of this live streaming, so y'all bear with me, especially with Photoshop. This is my old baby. I actually use it as a print computer now. So I pretty much only use it to print. And pretty much I have a big screen that I project to in case I need to show something or print something. Check it out on a different screen, a bigger screen. This is my little print laptop. So I try not to do too much on it. The enable automatic checking, I don't care if you recommend it. No, sir, disable. I will choose to update it if I choose to. I don't play with Epson with all of that. So meanwhile, while I'm getting this ready, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all. Am I sharing my screen? Well, I'm not sharing my screen at all. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Because I'm going to go ahead and show you my settings that I do for the printer. All right, and I guess at this moment I can turn that off. But I wonder if you will still hear my sound. I don't think you will. So I'm just going to make that full screen. Yep, no. There we go. Alright, so let's hide this. And y'all, some point down the road, I'll make a shorter video of this if it's not a full unboxing or whatever. But in the meantime, I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me. And I'm trying to shut down anything extra right now because I am pushing this little machine with all this stuff going on right now. I got you, baby. I will check that. You know, on my Facebook, I ain't gonna lie, my Facebook inbox got some like 3-month-old messages. I try to like refrain from Facebook Messenger, but if that's when you message me, I'll check it out, love. Cynthia, you keep getting no ink. Well, let's see what happens today. Maybe this could be a little answer. We'll see. Now, if you're getting no ink, try priming the cartridges. The process that we did today, where I was showing you how I removed the air, different cartridges may or may not require priming, but priming, even if it's not required, usually helps. Y'all, Photoshop is struggling to open while I'm doing the StreamYard, and I should have had Photoshop open before I started StreamYard, so we're gonna let it have its little day because it's showing out in front of company. All right, so she says do a print head cleaning and print something to press. All right, so let's try that. I can definitely do a print head cleaning while I'm waiting. Let's do. I'm on the printer. I'm doing my settings. I'm going to maintenance. I'm going to do a print head cleaning and just hit start. And yeah, Photoshop just shut down just that quick. Like I said, I think it has something to do with the StreamYard because I do not have this issue with my other programs. Please stop playing with my emotions, Photoshop, because I don't have time tonight. I be recommending people to you and all. That's how you gonna do me in front of company? Just showing out. Don't care who I'm advertising for. You don't care. You just do what you want to do. Y'all have to talk to Photoshop like a person sometimes because it definitely has its own personality. All right, so it's doing this print head clean. It's telling me it takes about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna let it roll. And I'm gonna go ahead and print one of these and see what happens. Now, if it has a little bit of the pigment ink in there, it won't really press. So I'll probably have to go grab some fabric. While it's reading that Photoshop file, I'm gonna go cut some fabric. So we'll have some sample pieces to press. All right, loves, I'm back. I'm back. Yay, Photoshop opened. I just had to cut some fabric off, y'all. Now it says I need to, well, I don't need to, but I'm going to go ahead and do a nozzle check. And I'm going to put, this is, I test on regular paper before I go into putting my sublimation paper into stuff. So let me grab some sheets here. And actually, I test my sublimation ink all the time with regular paper just to kind of make sure everything works. And I even compare printers like that. But I do recognize that my reds are different when I use the. Oh, let me show you how I loaded that paper up just then. I'll tell you what, I'll show you how to load up the paper later because that's going to be a little break from what we're doing right now. Let me see my layers. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my editing layers right now. Okay, and these are some layers that I'm playing with for different printers. I have been playing with the hues and levels and that sort of thing to kind of achieve similar results. Kind of similar to making my own ICC profile, but just between printers, seeing how the different files print on the different printers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just do a willy-nilly print here. And let's see if my printer's set up. I'm just going to let it do whatever the basic setup is for the 7820. And then I'll show you my my settings that I do for the 7720, which should be the same settings for this one. So I'll walk you through that process of actually setting up the printer so that you never have to set those settings again. But for right now, I am going to print. I'm going to start with the document high quality and just change something about it. We're going to make sure instead of high quality, yep, we'll be on high. Plain paper is cool. I'm not going to mirror image or any of that stuff. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and mirror image it just in case it's something I want to see. So I'll mirror image it. Hit OK. And I'll let it go. Landscape. And I'm just going to let this print to page. I'm definitely going to choose that Photoshop manages the colors, if it'll give me that opportunity. And like I said, I'll show you my full settings a little bit later. All right, so like I said, I'm just doing a couple of print test pages. So I'm going to do 2, just so I can see if anything comes out different from the first to the second. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put this. See if I can hurry up and put this little piece back in. Of course, I can't hurry up and do anything. All right, there we go. Ah! Oh, look at this! The little tray automatically popped out, like the 16650. Okay, I thought I felt some little, glide and sliding action in there. All right, so let me turn my camera back on so y'all can see. Yeah, this light is really like right above me, so I do apologize. You can't see my screen. I don't think you'd be able to really read it anyhow. And honestly, what I'm going to do, this is definitely still pigment ink in there. I can tell because of how vibrant it is. Sublimation ink is usually going to print pretty dull. So I'm probably, I got a little Cmyk right here. I'm just going to remove the mask from it. Just use Control T, I'm going to make it bigger. Turn it 90 degrees since my paper is already landscaped here. And let's just pull that bigger. I want to print as big as I can, basically. And this is said it's a 13 by 19 page, so I'm going to make sure that I resize this to print the 8.5 by 11. But I can definitely see that that it's still printing the pigment ink, the standard pigment ink. Alright, so I'm going to file print on this printer one more time, and let me show you what I'm about to print. Alright, so I'm about to print a couple of these. Normally, like I said, 6 of these will pull just about any ink through. So we'll try it out. It also depends on how much ink it pulls into the system. So let's see what happens here. I'm gonna go print this a little bit bigger so I can use up less paper. I'm gonna make this width be 13, so make it a little bit taller and get a little bit more out of it. All right, let's do it. It's going to print 2 of these right now. And what you'll notice is if you start, kind of putting your images side by side, you should notice that it starts to dull out, and some of your colors may even change. Sublimation ink almost never appears exactly as it's going to press, and I will tell you the colors that will show you that the most are your teals. And like it'll look like light baby sky blue, and then it'll come out teal, and you're like, before you press it, you're like, oh, do I want to press this? This light blue does not look like it's going to give me my teal color, and it will. It just looks funky until you press it. Right? And normally I can tell because my Cyan will look different from Sublimation. And like I said, I also have regular, schmegular, degular paper in here right now. So I should see a difference too. And yep, I see that Cyan is coming through. Yep. So if you ever printed, and I see some streaking here on this as well, so I'm gonna make sure I can handle that. But Cyan, when you're printing sublimation ink, is going to look pretty much blue. Any teal is gonna look like a skyish blue. It's not gonna actually look teal until you press it. So when I see this type of blue, I'm almost certain that it's sublimation ink in there and not the standard pigment ink. Like if I look at this first print, my teal actually looks pretty teal right there. And then it starts to get bluer. So yep, that's letting me know sublimation ink is pulling through. All right, so I'm gonna test it. Matter of fact, I could actually use these to test. Yes, it's regular paper. Yes, sublimation ink will come off of regular paper. Will you get your full presentation of the full gamut of colors on regular paper? Probably not, but it's at least worth it to see if your sublimation ink is coming through. All right. So after this one, I only printed 2. I may not have to do 6 with this one. So I like that it pulls the ink through very quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and set up a little piece of fabric. Let me see, I think I got the battery pack, so I think we're good to move. I'm gonna move y'all over to the heat press. All right. Let's back it up a little bit. Okay, so and there's horrible lighting in here. One of these days, I'm gonna get that fixed among all my other problems I complain about. But for right now, I'm just gonna cut a little piece of fabric, and I'm gonna grab the last print that we printed plus the second little color tone, skin tone test, and we're gonna press those at the same time. Cutting my fabric right now. All right, let's see what we're working with. All right, I'm not even gonna pre-press the fabric because this is just seeing if ink is actually coming through. I'm gonna do the 60 seconds. I almost never do 60 seconds. I almost never do 60 seconds. But right now we're going to do 400 degrees, 60 seconds. I almost never do 400 degrees. But when I'm testing something out, I like to start with the recommended standard, which is 400 degrees, 60 seconds. And then I play with it. And my goal is to see, can I have less bleed through? Can I have less seconds to press? Like, can I press it at 35 seconds instead of 60 seconds and still get great results? And that's pretty much what I look at. I do around about 385, 390 at the most, and about 35 to 40, 45 seconds. Unless when I'm pressing those all over piece by piece, I do try to give it a full 50 seconds or so because it takes a little more time to make sure that the ink releases, turns into a gas and actually permeates and touches those fabrics at those different levels. So I do have a little more time I give it for that. And it was 60 seconds. Not bad. All right. These fumes, and you can see how these colors came out. I can tell that that's not full sublimation ink, but it did start pulling through some sublimation ink that quickly. And this is more than likely not the full color that it's going to be, but yet and still, it's still pulling through some great color with only two of the Cmyk test prints. So we are going to, and that's cool. It has it up on the screen still. All right, so I'm gonna print a couple more to make sure that I get that, push that ink through there. But yeah, that wasn't bad at all. With the 7720s, I used to have to pull a lot of ink through there if I started with those other cartridges. That's why I used to not do them like that. You know, I probably could use the back of this fabric for another test. Just put a little paper down. Nope, I'm not putting paper down. Y'all know me. Okay, so let me print. I'm going to print one more of these. Oh yeah, I got the yeah. I'm showing out right now with plain copy paper and no cover paper only because I found this little top platen cover, and I'm being a little bold. Y'all don't do that. Please don't do that. I just kind of wipe this thing off when it's done when I do stuff like that, and it's not a big deal. But yes, I have like rolls of this cover paper over here, but I don't really use copy paper too often. If I do, I'm gonna just wipe that off. But I have been testing out these different color features on different printers, so I've been burning through some blank fabric, some sublimation paper, and some hours. Now to pull a little more ink through, and I'm kind of yelling because I know my microphone is over there with the heat press. Pull a little more ink through. I'm going to print this on a higher print quality mode just to make sure it's pulling, it's putting more ink down. So let's do our print settings. And this time I'm going to go with, I normally use plain paper. I'm going to go with Premium Presentation Matte. And then instead of standard, I'm going to go with high. And obviously, there are some settings that are a little bit different. Let's go Photoshop manages colors. And I want to push this image over a little bit if it gives me the chance. And I'm just printing one of those out. We'll test that out in a second. Now, of course, now that I have this set up, I'll work out some things where I will play with the color settings and all that good stuff. See how long it takes to print, do some timing and that sort of thing. So like I said, we'll do a versus video. And I will take this same image and print it out on my my original 7710 is what I have. I still have a few of those, but one that's actually like out of the box operational. Then I have a 15,000. Then I have a 16650 and a Sawgrass 1000. And then finally the Epson 78, 20, and 40. So I have the 20. Let me get this paper here. Okay. So, and then I also have the big boy, the 7270. And I'm saying all this. I guess I could have showed y'all all this while I was waiting on this print. Are you still? Oh, I think I need some more paper in here. It says the paper's out. It has a couple of sheets in there. I guess it's just not reading them, so I'm gonna put a little bit more paper in there. Make sure you read it. I don't need any paper feed problems, sir. All right, so I like that this one has the what are we talking about? What paper is not out? All right. to make sure this machine knows what it's talking about. It's saying my paper's out, but it's not. And maybe it's because it recognizes that it's not the thicker paper and it won't pick up that plain paper again. And if that's the case, yeah, I'm just going to change the paper mode here. I don't know, this 7840 might be smart. It might be able to detect the paper thickness. Let me close that up. Let me put it on back to my regular. Now, sublimation paper, I think, will be able to go for premium presentation mat, but I'm not putting sublimation paper in just yet. Once I feel like I get a good press off of this one, then yes, I will. I'll try my sublimation paper, and I guess I don't need to show you those settings yet because I haven't figured them out yet. I'm gonna figure them out, and then I'll let you know what my settings are. Print, sir. I guess I forgot to hit the print button and I'm over here fussing at the printer. No, Miss Choice. Oh yeah, if I tell y'all that something works, I'm not going to be confident in telling you my ink works with something unless I actually have the printer and I know it for a fact. So I'm a printer hoarder too. I definitely not only test this stuff, I kind of eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. And I do see a little bit of banding, which means that's probably a little bit of the different inks in there, but I'm cool with that as long as y'all use your cover paper. Don't be like me, okay? Use your cover paper. And I didn't have 2 pages on that time, so I really should have had 2 if I'm not using cover paper. Just let that go, and I'm going to go ahead and find my sublimation paper. I've been playing with a few different types of sublimation paper, and I had some out here. Oh, I have a couple sheets here. Now the paper that I get from Heat Transfer Warehouse, and whenever you all use my affiliate links, it really does help me out. I know it seems like a small percentage. You don't pay anything extra. The affiliate links is just helping those suppliers realize what a moving force we are. So whenever we use the affiliate links, it kind of gives us a little pull when it comes to this crafting and business and entrepreneurial market. Okay. So, and this is just regular copy paper. So regular copy paper always appears like a little bit spotty, splotchy, right? Sublimation paper is going to be smooth. So I think I'll be okay with putting the sublimation paper in next. Ooh, I'm kind of happy. I'm getting my tail there without much effort. Y'all, I'm not mad at this one yet. Let me calm down because I know Epson likes to disappoint me sometimes. So, but I am going to say this is with regular copy paper. I don't know if y'all can see that too well. Regular copy paper. I'm already getting some good colors. I'm seeing what I look for my reds, and I'm going to show y'all reds with real sublimation paper. But I look for my reds, check. I look for my blacks, make sure I don't have like bad tinted blacks. Everybody's black is going to have a tint of some color. Every white or black that you look at either has a tint of yellow, a tint of blue, a tint of red. Something in it is going to have a tint. So there are no pure colors when it comes to the grayscales. But this grayscale does not come out like a tacky, nasty, like you were saying, a lilac color. I'm not getting that. I'm getting clean colors there. My neutral tones here look good. My reds look really good. And my teal is actually, it's coming out pretty good. I know that usually this is a little bit more vibrant on the screen. The problem is what you see on your screen can't necessarily translate into a print. Number one, you're talking about going from lights to an actual product, a pigment. That's a totally different thing. You're talking about RGB lights, and then you're talking about a physical product that refracts color into your eye, and that's how you see this color. So that is just a whole nother monster in and of itself, but I do like what I'm seeing so far. I always have a problem with Epson's printing the yellows a little bit more orangish than I would like, but this actually looks really good. This looks good. So I wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but if y'all gonna stick around and y'all want to stick around, let me know. If y'all tired and y'all ready to go home, let me know. If you want to see me print with the sublimation settings and work from that tonight, let me know. Yes, I'm using Photoshop. That heat press cover I got from Heat Transfer Warehouse. So what I need to do, all of the things that I have or even want for my wish list, sorry, I'm moving my camera around now. I will put the links for Heat Transfer Warehouse for like the paper and even this printer, this SG-1000. They have that printer, and I'm not gonna lie, the SG-1000 is pretty nice, but I want to compare it to the other ones, especially in terms of cost and ink and all that good stuff. So what am I doing right now? I said I was going to print out. So I'm gonna keep the print settings open. Hopefully that window's probably not big enough to see what's going on. So let me make it half and half. Think that way. Okay. So, because we pretty much know what the printer does at this point. At the least, I'll show you how to. Let's do the paper. Let's go ahead and do the paper. So, like I said, eventually I will make a shorter video. Maybe I'll be lying to y'all sometimes when I say I'm gonna make a shorter video. That's probably about the only lie I really tell. Yeah, I'm gonna remake this video, and nope. One shot, 12-hour video. There you go. Love y'all. Hope you enjoy every minute of it, because I'm pretty sure we talked about something that will help you out. Okay, so I'm going to see if this is very similar to this 72 or 7720. I should be able to expand the tray here. Okay. So now that should be a 13 by 19 tray. Let me see, because the way they've been doing it now is they've been making 11 by 17 in the trays and then 13 by 19 in the back. And I think that's what I'm seeing here, because I see 11 by 17 in this tray. So I'm assuming, and I'm probably right in my assumption, that this bottom tray only goes to 11 by 17. I think I'm right, because this would pop out a little bit more. Yep. So if I close that out, I'm going to go ahead and load the 13 by 19. So that's what I don't like then, because I'm used to having my 13 by 19 paper protected in this little bottom part, and it would kind of keep, dust from settling on my junk, and, maybe even a little bit of moisture barrier. If I was out in the humidity, like I like to take my printer out and do like pop-ups and that sort of thing, print on demand. So I don't like that my paper would have to be exposed, but I suppose that's better for the printer, because it probably would give you less paper jams, being that it doesn't have to curl the paper around the printer rollers and stuff. It just goes flat straight through. So let's see if that assumption is correct. So that means I can just go ahead and just leave regular old paper down here, because I don't use different size papers. I use 13 by 19 or nothing, or like copy paper. I used to have the 11 by 17, the mug size paper and all that stuff, but I don't do all that stuff anymore. I try to keep it to 13 by 19. I have to put that in first. Let me close this part first. But yeah, I try to stick to 13 by 19. I may gang sheet some stuff, but if I were doing like mugs and things like that back to back to back, I might do different smaller size paper, but I just don't. I never really have. Never really have. Now, license plates, yes, but I would usually just print 2 license plates to a page, to a 13 by 19 page. Or when I had my 7720s or my 7120s, the top tray I would use 11 by 17, bottom tray I would use 13 by 19. And then if I needed smaller paper, I would actually use the back tray to do my smaller paper because I was very rarely using it. All right, so let's see what's loaded up. 8.5 plain paper. Sure, why not? Hit close on that. And now I see A3 plus. That's your Super B. A3 plus and Super B are pretty much the same thing. 13 by 19. So let's go ahead and feed a sheet in the back. And the reason why I'm printing this color chart on the 13 by 19 because sometimes it's hard to see your color swatches when they're so tiny. It's a little bit easier to see when the squares are a little bigger and you can determine how much color was actually put out. All right. Select the size and type of the loaded paper. So now we're going to do 13 by 19, which should be Super B, which is the A3 plus. I'm going to do, I'll stick to my, I'm going to put presentation mat just because it automatically read that. So I'm kind of assuming it knows the thickness of the paper when I put it in there, which is kind of cool and kind of weird at the same time. Let's go ahead and hit close here. And then hopefully when I go to print now, I can find my mouse again. It's up there on the big screen. Come on, mouse. Come on down to the small screen, please. Here we go. File, print. And I haven't set my print settings yet. I will do a different video on what the print settings should be because I'm still exploring and I don't want to tell y'all wrong. Print settings. Lisa, where did you get your F570 from? Because I need one. I wanted to test it out with the True Colors desktop ink because I was told from the manufacturer that we're able to use that in the F570, so I wanted to test it for you all. I know some people already tell me they're using it, but I just wanted to test it. So if you can tell me where you found it right about now, I will probably go ahead and get one and test the True Colors on that. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm going to go with the paper tray. And you would think it will automatically find that, but maybe not. Let's do Super B 13 by 19. I'm going to go ahead and put, I think it was it premium presentation mat or presentation paper mat? I think it was premium presentation mat. I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and load it up. And then this is what I do. I try to test the top settings and then I try to see what can I get by with. Most of the time, y'all know my profile that I told y'all before with the 7720. I get away with plain paper and I just crank the quality up to high and I'm good. It doesn't lay down too much ink. It has good colors. I don't have to wait forever for it to print because it realizes it's plain paper. It doesn't lay down all that ink. So hopefully we'll go with this higher setting. And then when I do it on the plain paper setting, if I'm good on that, then I'm golden. Like if I can get plain paper, I know I can print faster. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone and see if it does the whole little tray pop out again. My Photoshop is acting up, y'all. Forgive it. For he knows not what he does. Come on, little Photoshop. Okay, now this time I am gonna make it bigger. Oh, I guess I'm not because I hit print while it was thinking, and I guess it's gonna use up a 13 by 19 sheet of paper and print pretty much small on the inside. Maybe I have time to cancel it. No, maybe I don't. Well, I do have time to cancel it because it says the paper type in the tray does not match. So let me cancel that print and I'm going to redo this. I want to print as big as I can. I still like to leave that white around the edge, so give me my mouse, sir. Lower screen, please. All right, file a print. Now this time I'm going to tell it to print a little bit bigger. If I'm patient. Here we go. It's still going to give me a print error because what it's saying is whatever I told the paper to be is different from what Photoshop is telling the printer that the paper is. So when there's a discrepancy, you're going to hear some kind of ding ding on your printer, and you're going to have to rectify that either by canceling it, or if you hit done, you're going to have to manually select which paper type. So I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to tell it, I guess it was either presentation matte or premium matte. Okay, so presentation matte will be a grade down from premium matte. I'm going to go ahead and tell it it's premium matte and let it take its time printing. Premium matte is going to take longer to print. So this is what I say, if I can get away with, like I'll do premium matte, right? And it might be so flawless and beautiful and perfect and take 5 minutes to print. And then I'll try, well, let me try the, just the regular presentation, premium or presentation matte. And then it may take a little less time. It may still have some really good quality color. And then I try the plain paper settings. So once I try the plain paper settings with the highest quality print, and if I get great colors, then I'm golden. I will stop there. I don't play with the draft mode or any of that other stuff, because eventually you'll end up getting, anytime you print in those really low quality modes, you will get banding, guaranteed. It's just going to happen. So if I can go with plain paper, high quality ink, then that's my preference. And like I said, I'm going to play with these settings with or without y'all probably, and let you know what my final take is on them. But the whole point was just breaking this printer out, setting it up, playing with this with these chips and making sure that they work well. So I'm very happy so far. We're going to update you on this process, because what I want to see is how long it's going to take really for these cartridges to run out, pretty much how many prints I get off of this printer before it says that an ink cartridge is not filled. And then I'm going to show you, hey, this is what it's saying when it's empty, how much ink is really in there. I want to physically show you that cartridge and let you know that this is what's happening when Epson says that your cartridge is empty, and how often you will probably end up switching those chips out. Okay. And with that video, I'll even show you how to pull the clip out for the chip and how to replace that chip, because it's in a plastic housing. I did that on purpose because they're willing to sell like the chips by themselves, but you can easily scratch them or get glue on them or whatever, trying to manually place them in there. So I told them to make it easier. We just pay a little extra. We get the plastic around it, and it just makes it so much easier to install and take off. Okay, so see how long this thing is taking to print? I'm going to print one like this, and I'm just going to skip a step, and I'm going to do a plain paper on the next one with the same high quality. Well, not, it'll be the high quality setting, but it will be on plain paper setting. And I want you to see, I should have put my timer out and see how long this is going to take to print. But I'll do that in my verses. Okay, I'll do that in my verses. But I'm sure we can calculate the time on this YouTube video. I know that. Yep. And Sharon, if I had to choose between the 16600 and the 16650, I would go for the 16650 because it's virtually the same printer. It's just, I believe it has bi-directional printing or something enhanced on the 16650 that allows it to print almost twice as fast as the 16600. So the beautiful thing about that is it does print fast. I think the F70 the F570 can print fast as well, just depending on what settings you have on that. So I'm definitely willing to test all those features out for y'all when I get my hands on one. All right, so let's see how this thing is going. It's printing. It's printing real careful right now. So I'm going to let it carefully print. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and set up the next print. I'll show you what my typical settings are for the 7720. And we'll see if they end up being about the same. Let's do print. And I'm not using the color profiles or anything. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Lord have mercy. I forgot to turn off the color profiles. So now my test isn't going to be exactly right. Because whenever you let Photoshop manage the colors, I think on Macs, when you let Photoshop manage the colors, it automatically turns off the ICC profile or the color profiles that your printer inherently has. But on PCs, I believe you have to manually cut it off. You have to go to custom, advanced, and then you have to put no color adjustment. Because I'm not going to do that's what I would typically do. I'm kind of torn because I don't like to introduce new variables until I've tested one variable against itself. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the plain paper, and instead of standard, I'm going to put high. And I'm going to leave that color management on. Right now it's on fixed photo. I don't leave that on. I let Photoshop manage the colors. So after this, how about this? I'll do a third one, and the third one will be Photoshop manages the colors with the ICC profile off if the plain mode works. Okay, so didn't expect to be here this long, but hey, what am I going to do? I'm at home pretty much in pajamas anyway, and in my relaxed mode. So we'll make it do what it do. All right, now I do want to show you how much quicker this should print out, because my goodness, I don't like waiting all this time for these prints. My 16650 has got me spoiled. All right, so let's do print. And I will say I think the SG1000 was printing pretty fast. I did not time it though, so I can't wait to time the SG1000 against the 16650 and see what we end up with. Now, because I changed it to the plain paper for this 13 by 19, it's probably going to ding and tell me that I need to check the paper settings, and that's perfectly fine. That just means it'll get my attention. All right, so this looks like some pretty intense color was laid down. Now we just need to see how it prints. The paper size and type does not match the specified print settings. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to go ahead and load up my 13 by 19 paper. I think it does like identify the thickness because it doesn't really move once I put it in there. So I'm going to tell it is plain paper. It may not believe me, but that's what I want you to believe. All right, and let's see. Did I pull this out all the way? I don't think I did. I could flip that up one more time, and it makes it support the paper better. Oh, look how much faster this thing is printing. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to go cut me some fabric up real quick. All right, so while this is going, I think it's probably printing about twice. It might even be printing more than twice as fast because the other one I was standing here for quite some time before anything even came out. So before I press it though, I do want to let it completely print out so I can compare. Not really the colors as much as the output of ink. You'll see sometimes it still may even look a little bit wet, or even if it doesn't look wet, it just looks so much more saturated with ink on the paper. So I just want to check that out. but it looks to be doing very well on the plain paper setting. I don't see any banding right now. I don't see any skipped areas, like where it's real splotchy or dotted, because sometimes you will see that. I think this plain paper setting might be hitting on something. Let's see. My reds definitely look more intense here, but I may not need all of that red to get red. So we're going to test this out. I know that I'm going to try the best quality version first, and then I will try the plain paper setting. And then while I am pressing, I'm going to go ahead and set the last one I was telling you about. Yeah, I like the way it received this paper in the back. I don't have to really check it, and I'm blindly leading it back there, and it's doing all right. So this time I'm going to do File, Print. I'm going to turn off all the ICC profiles and color corrections that the printer might do. So I'm going to go to Print Settings. I'll leave it on the plain paper, highest quality printing, and I will turn off the color correction. So let's go to More Options, Advanced. We want to put no color adjustment. All right. And I see we don't have the ability to turn off the fast printing here, so that's the difference. All right, so let's see it. Let's let it print. You know what? I need to see the print before I press it though. That's my deal. So that I can really, and I don't know if you can see this. So I'm gonna hit print like I should have already. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the full print. Oh, no. Here we go. All right, so it may look very subtle on camera, especially from what you're seeing, but I can definitely tell if I put the reds next to the reds, this is a lot more saturated with ink than this one. However, I think I'm still gonna get good reds here. Let's see how my blues are looking. Blues look pretty good. I see a little more variation in this blue, like a very slight variation. This is a varied blue from this one, but it looks like it did a really decent job of printing on the plain paper setting. Now we'll see what these skin tones look like. I haven't played with the skin tones. I'm just more focused on the actual, solid colors here right now. And then these are our team colors here. So like your sports teams, your NFL team colors. Most of us can identify if it's like a Cowboys blue or Ravens purple or whatever. So I put those on there. And I also, with this class, you're going to get a free swatches that you can install that have those swatches already input in there for the hex codes. So that ought to be pretty cool. We did that last class. Class number 134, we played with the swatches and used the team colors to make like your local high schools and stuff. Let's say your high school does the 49ers colors. Then you have the 49ers colors where you can pick from there and do your high school logo. Most high schools are going to be modeled after some of these pro teams, so it is beneficial to kind of understand what those colors really look like when they're printed. All right. So this one is certainly printing out fast as well. It's probably the same speed as the other one. I don't know. It might even be a little faster because the printer doesn't have to think about the color profile. It's allowing Photoshop to do it. So let's see. It supposedly let Photoshop do it on these too. So this one turns out no different than this one. Then I understand that when you let Photoshop manage the colors, it inherently replaced the ICC profile. But if it looks any different, then I know that is not true. So it doesn't look different. So they may have made it so that I won't know till I press it though. Oh, it is different. The greens are definitely different. So this is with the ICC profile on, or the correction on for the printer, and Photoshop managing the color. This is just Photoshop managing the color. So I'm gonna check this out. I'm excited. All right, so let me put them in order. 1, 2, 3. Now let me drag y'all on over here to the press. I almost squished my whole finger up in this thing. Doing too much. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so get y'all to where you can see what I'm working on. Maybe put 1, 2, and 3 down so I don't get them confused in order. All right, so y'all are working with me now. All right, so let's try the first print. Now I usually do like trim these just so I can see where I'm putting the image because I did make it a little bigger, but I think my fabric is big enough, so let's do it. We'll go full 60 seconds. In the meantime, in between time, let me see if I can check y'all's comments, see if y'all have any questions or anything. I forgot I have a whole other computer over here. Okay. All right. Let that kind of degas a little bit. All those fumes get out of my face. All right. That one was the premium setting. And I'm in this bad lighting right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and press all of them up. And then we'll lay them out side by side. All right, so let's go ahead and get contestant number 2 up here. And I have to remember too, I forget sometimes when I flip the fabric. So, you know, it depends. If you press on the courses of the wells, which is basically a knit, has courses and wells. And if you print on one side versus the other, your image can look different. So hopefully I'm putting the fabric down the same way every time. I wasn't paying attention to that before. Now this one looks like this last little scrap might be a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim this one down. So hopefully every color fits on this one. I don't want to go cut another whole long piece of fabric just to do this. All right. Let's see what we're looking like. Whew, it's hot time. That almost looks identical. That's crazy. It almost looks identical, which printed a lot faster. Okay, I'm excited. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this off. And let's grab our next one. Now, if that looks identical, especially for sublimation, and it took almost half the time to print, I'm sold. Now, I think I did just flip that. And this is a, dang, my image is going to be a little bit different. We'll see. Because this is also, I think, a two-way stretch. So that can even affect whether you have it, the courses and wells going left to right or up or down. It can affect your image quality when you're comparing them side by side. All right, so meanwhile, I'll go ahead and get this table set up. So maybe we can compare a couple things going on. All right, 5 more seconds and we're done. Alrighty. Move some stuff out of the way and then I'll bring y'all over here with me. Oh yeah. I think this. Okay. Now I will do a little bit more work on this color comparison as I'm preparing for class on Sunday. Believe it or not, this is what we're doing on Sunday. We are taking, and I'm showing you how to set everything up, optimize for the ink and your printer settings. All right, so let's see what we're working with here. Well, can you see me? And tighten up this little loose neck on my camera here. All right. Let's see here. Color wise, I'm looking at the skin tones, and I pretty much see that all of them are pretty much on. As a matter of fact, this last one. Now I'm saying the last one looks better, and I'm just saying because maybe I'm also looking at there's a little more red. There's a little more red magenta concentrated in this one. But what I really need to do is look at my screen and see. Let's see. Can I pull the screen over here without causing any issue? I don't know. I also have this hooked up to the TV, so that might not be a good idea. But I think you all can still, no, you can't still see my computer monitor. So I'm comparing what I'm seeing on the monitor to what I'm seeing in print. And I do feel like, oh, and let me show you the SG-1000. So the SG-1000, I was very impressed with how well it printed from the screen. I'm definitely going to have to play with some settings here because, oh, that's the Vivid. Never mind, the Vivid, we need the photo one. Where's the SG-1000 photo? Because the Vivid kind of plays up colors a little too much. It almost does it, it does it purposely. So I want the SG-1000 photo version because that's more true to what you see on the screen. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of just pulling that down. I'm going to have to play with some of these colors just a little bit because I feel like some of these are not coming in as vibrant as I would want. Not at all. Let's see. And I'm checking my teals and stuff here too, because that was the number one. And see, I printed on the reverse side of this. I can tell because I can see the direction of the knit, and that's throwing my eyes off too because it's reflecting color. But I will tell you this, as far as matching the Sawgrass best, so far, I think the one where we did no ICC profile and let Photoshop correct the colors is most spot on. But I will, before I give you my final verdict, I am going to do a little work. Now, the Sawgrass inks are also like a gel ink. So I believe that it's able to to be a little more covering and look more pigmented as well. But as far as what I'm seeing between these two, this one so far is my best bet. My yellows are a little bit, so I think what I'm going to do is go into the yellows and reduce the yellows a little bit, maybe about 8 to 10 on my Photoshop file, and then I think I will end up with a better green, because that green is just a tad bit off from this one. This teal, or it's not really teal, it is more like a Tiffany blue, but it ends up becoming more like a light turquoise or more of a seafoam green, depending on the yellow. So I think I'm gonna play with that. But other than that, man, and honestly, it's just the screen presentation and how your printer is interpreting these colors. You have limited color gamuts based on your printer limitations and your ink limitations. So what's happening is this is trying to, make that color that it sees on the screen, and this printer, this ink is making it more on the blue side. This one is making it slightly more on the green side, but I think that still works out really well. I'm liking it. And maybe on the screen, none of this really looks that different, but yeah, I play with colors all day, so this is kind of one of my pet peeves when I can't get a color right. But let's see, my 70, I have a 7720 here. That's my 16650. So my 16650, when I tell y'all I got that 16650 to give me bright red, I like almost like a neon red, but it gave me a little bit darker teal, where it was supposed to be more of that Tiffany blue. So I did have a little issue with that, but other than that, my reds came out better than the Sawgrass reds for the 16650 with the yellow -10. What else I got for you? That's the SG1000 Vivid. And like I said, what it does is it punches up the color. So it's not good. The Vivid mode is not good for photos because it makes them look oversaturated, but it really punches up the impact of the color when you're doing like spot colors, vibrant colors, that sort of thing. So that's cool. I got all of these things I've been working on. I don't even know what most of them are, but I thought I had a 7270. And I'm sure, like I said, when we do the verses, I'll show you all that stuff. That's a SG1000. Oh, these are the ones we just did. Let me leave those alone. Where are the rest of my stuffs? That's the 7210. This is the Pro Ink. The Pro Ink can get super saturated, like so saturated that the colors can kind of come out a little dark. So I've been playing with that. So when I really want that light color, the colors are so saturated, which is great when you're doing like these reds and blacks and that sort of thing. They super saturate. But I'm playing with being able to get that little light color there. But I have, there we go. That is my, the 7270 is the big boy printer. So all of these that I'm showing you right now, are the Sawgrass 1000 is against all the desktop printers. So that's kind of fair game there. My 7720, and then this was my 7720. Nope, that was a 16650. So I have some of these already that I've been playing with. So we're going to do a little comparison. We're going to set this up for class. So what I'm doing is I'm checking to make sure with the printers that I have what I believe are the best settings for that particular printer for the True Colors ink. So we are going to have some fun with that. All right. But overall, all of these colors are very, very similar, very, very much high quality, very much like something that you would be proud to press and see. It's just that when you are trying to maintain a certain color, like a really bright, vibrant green, it's hard to get that color gamut. So I have to play with the options in Photoshop to get that brightish you know, kind of it's not a neon green, but it's like a lime green, right? It's hard to get that lime green with sublimation. So I do my best to figure out how I can get that for you. Same thing with that little Tiffany blue color. Okay. So that's it. I'm happy. I'm tired. I'm going to check on y'all's questions, see if y'all have any questions for me. All right. Let's see. Y'all got some comments too. Oh yeah, the Eco Tank, definitely. If there was anything I can tell you that makes me feel better and sleep better, like if I needed to print some prints and go to sleep, you would never, you could never go to sleep on a 70, 720 or any of those, like at all. Matter of fact, you can't take a nap, you can't get a snack, you can't get a drink of water, you cannot walk away from that printer and think that it's not going to tell you one of the cartridges are empty or stop printing in the middle of your page and, you know, give you all kind of heartache. So that's just the thing. A 77, 20 and 10 and the 71 10s and 20s and all of those have to be babysat because it's consistently going to be thinking those cartridges are empty, or it pulls, you know, multiple pages at once. And, you know, it has its downfalls. But I will tell you this. They definitely got me through my first years up until recent. I still have them. They still work. Let's see. What was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, that SG-1000 Vivid. It looks really gross for the photos. Like it makes you orange. So I would say Vivid, pure, like the SG-1000. And I'm going to go over this when we do our verses. But the SG-1000, if you're just looking at the colors, baby, it pops. It really like almost has a little bit of I don't want to say fluorescence to it, but it definitely looks like it has that sort of base. But this 16650 gives us really good strong color. That 77, that old 77 10 and 20. Where's that little baby? But it did its thing too. I will tell you, I did like how that one output color. Don't like how long it takes to print. Don't like how it stops in the middle of print. All right, so let's see here. What are we doing? Yes, Lisa, that is the number one thing with these, and even going printer to printer, the yellows look different. The yellows with the sawgrass are a more like lemon yellow. The yellow with the sublimation ink for TRU is a little more golden yellow. Now, the reason why that is, in order to get a deeper red, I believe that what they did was the original formula had a little bit more red in the yellow. So I'm working on potentially changing this next batch, which takes a lot of energy, so that the next batch of yellow has a little less red in it. And that's why I say I've been playing with the yellows. Like this 16650, I did yellow -10. And when I took the yellow -10, yes, it's still just a tad bit, it actually still looks the same amount of reddish there, but it pulls a little bit of red out of some of the areas where it needs yellow. So it gives us a little bit better variation in the greens, and gives us this really bright red, which I hate this bright red. I don't know what people call it. I don't know if it's not even fire engine red to me. It's like an orange red to me, and I hate really seeing it. I like a deep, nice kind of sultry red, but that's not always the case. So this one was, it let the printer manage the color profile with Photoshop, and then the reds came out a little too dark, not enough pop. But some of you are looking for those type of reds in what you're printing. So like I said, there's a lot of factors here. I'm going to play with a lot of these things you see. I've already been doing a lot of comparisons and prints. And I stayed up one day, I did almost 20 different variations of one file on one printer just to see how those subtle changes in Photoshop would change the colors of the output. So it's been a journey. It's been fun. And I don't know if I'm going to call it fun by the time we get together Sunday, but you'll love it. Let's see if I have any other questions. I feel the same way. Plain paper setting works for me. For sublimation, people used to recommend the premium presentation over anything else, and I hated it because number one, it would take so long to print, and then the other thing is it would, it's a kind of a waste of ink. That could almost be a whole nother sheet of paper printing time wise and ink wise. So I'm the type of person where, yes, I am a stickler for color, but when I could barely see by my eye the difference in quality of color, I know my customer isn't going to see that difference. So I definitely suggest the plain paper. I'm going to play with my color settings a little bit just to see if I can get something that speaks to me a little bit better. Let's see, that was 1, 2, 3. It was this one down here. This was 16650. Yeah. And I want to see my reds and my magenta looks different on this one. Because I would assume the 16650 and the 7720 were very similar. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that they are different. Very much so. But it looks better. Like as far as it trying to guess the colors, it looks like it guessed the colors better. It really does. So I will give y'all a cool little update on that and see what happens when I pull that yellow. Because I'm thinking the yellow needs to be pulled down a little bit. And once we pull the yellow down, I think we're going to get much more accurate colors. But I think all of these colors look good printed as is. Like you wouldn't be able to argue with anybody about anything major. Your blues are going to be blues. Your blacks are going to be black. Your reds are going to be red. There's no confusion about that. And when I want that kind of orangish red, I can achieve it now. Like I didn't think it, but I did. And that was simply by pulling down the yellow. And I'm not even talking about like making an ICC profile. I just did it in Photoshop. So I'm going to have these little layers that help you punch up. And I'll probably do like a set where if you expose this layer, it's going to make your reds, more vibrant. This layer will basically pull out the light, that very, very, if you ever have to print this color right here, it's a very difficult color to print with Photoshop or just sublimation in general, because it toggles between, do I think this is blue or do I think that's green? So that's a hard color to get. So we're going to play with that. And once I get my settings together, I'll have a setup for each of the printers that I recommend. Okay, so this has been fun. I'm tired, boss. I hope you all have enjoyed this process. The few of y'all who are here left with me, I thank you. Appreciate you all dearly. Let me see if there's any. Let's see, Lisa. Lisa says, I found the true color really pressed best on my 7210 when I let Photoshop manage the color and checked match print color. Right. When you let Photoshop do all the work, especially on the 7210s, 7710s, all of those, that group, I really do appreciate the color output from those printers. It's just some of the other issues that I had with them. Lisa says the true color really is true to the color like the name says. Thank you, baby. Well, we're going to do a little challenge and hopefully other people find that out as well. So I really appreciate y'all. I will check in with y'all later on. I am happy to say that I think this works. I would not recommend this as the main system until we were really able to get ARC chips. But if this is what you have to use for now, we have, that's your 7820. That's the one that the chips have to be replaced. So I might not need to be willy-nilly printing all these things on this thing, because I'm going to be mad when it tells me to replace one of these cartridges. But when it tells you to replace the cartridge, you have to replace the chip. I'll do a separate video on doing that because I'm pretty sure it's going to be around the corner for me, especially with me doing all these test prints. Let's see, we have the Sawgrass SG1000 is down there a little bit lower. I'm testing that one out for the verses with the Sawgrass ink. The Epson 16650 is right behind it. That's my boo. That's the one that prints like, you know, within 30 seconds, a 13 by 19. The 15,000 is right beside it. I'll test that one as well. The 15,000, I have the hardest, like it has a little bit different color formulation of how it combines those colors. And I believe it's because it was initially a dye ink for all colors except for black. So I think the way it mixes the ink is a little bit different. And when I say mix the ink, you know what I mean. And then I have in the cut over there, kind of hidden and hiding, that's the 7710. Okay, so we'll do a versus. We're going to check the print quality, the time, and also the cost. So like this 7840 or 7820 is going to have a higher cost because you can't just refill the cartridges and be through. You have to buy a new chip every time. And that gets pretty expensive until the price of these chips come down. Okay. So, and I might throw the big boy in the mix. I might throw him in there. He's not really a fast printer. But he is a good high quality printer with that Pro Ink in there. When I tell you those colors are so super saturated, so much so that I actually have to figure out how to calm them down sometimes. So this is might be one of the runners too. All right, so I've been on this thing for 3 hours with y'all. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be a little 30-minute 1 hour video, but I appreciate y'all. I love y'all dearly. And oh, I guess I can step in the camera for a second, even though I look crazy. Let me go where the light is not like beaming in my face. Y'all, this is what I didn't expect to be on camera today, but I'm gonna go ahead and show myself. I look a little crazy, but y'all love me anyway, so I already know this. What was I about to say? Before I signed out, Sunday's class, we're going to do this. So for Sunday, I want you all to have your printers ready, because we're actually have your presses ready too, because we're actually going to print, set up our profiles on our computers based on whatever printers y'all have. I'm going to show y'all that in real time. We're going to press these on some type of fabric. So whatever fabric that you have, I don't care if it's an old, you know, a bunch of old t-shirts, just make sure it's the same brand. You want as little variables as possible. Okay. So we're going to do that. And that is not our typical kind of template, you know, design course, but so many of you are telling me that, look, if I could just get my colors right, I can sleep, I can have some peace. And I want to help y'all get some peace, okay? So we're going to do this as a class, and of course it'll be pre-recorded for other people to check out as well. But I feel like this is necessary. It's about that time, okay? So, and then from there, we'll do the True Colors Challenge, which you don't have to take the class. You don't have to be in the academy to do it. It's just a free-for-all True Colors Challenge. I just want y'all to really and truly try out True Colors Ink. And if you have already tried it and you know about it, then I still want you to show it off. I want you to show us what you've been doing with it and how it stands up to its name, okay? All right, so I'm done looking crazy for y'all. I really do. I appreciate y'all. Oh, you like the letters on my shirt. This is, what template is this? This template is the WAP template. Okay, I just basically put the tiger stripes and the cheetah print in there. I put some colors in there, and then if you look up close, boom, you got that bling bling. Okay, so this is one of my little, this is actually a swimming shirt. We've been doing some water activities. So when we go places, we wear uniforms. I call them uniforms. And it basically just means wherever we go, somebody's going to ask us about these darn shirts. Okay. So we just like to make any outing and occasion something that we can advertise and, expand the brand. All right. So that's what that is. That is the exclusive 002 course, that WAP template. You'll find this lettering style. You'll see the chains in the gold, and then you can change the images in the background. So it already has the leopard print and the zebra print and all that stuff in there. All right. Oh, Lisa says she used the True colors on a 50-50 cotton shirt, and the colors look great. That's cool. I have not tried it on any type of cotton blend, except for I did try it on a 60-40, some of those kind of workout shirts for girls, and it did look really nice. And those shirts are really nice and soft. Oh yeah, I got you, love. So Natasha should be back. I think she said she was going to be back from her vacation this week. So I will check on that with you for the print and cut. I got you. All right. So let me get off this screen because your girl wasn't ready. Matter of fact, where's my junk? I wanted to really show y'all. I could at least show y'all. Let me show y'all how I was looking for y'all. Y'all don't do me. Okay, when who else is gonna do this for you? This is how I was rocking, and then I had to pull all my hair through it. Yeah, I had to pull all my hair through it, and it was so heavy. It was sitting on my forehead. Yeah, this is how your girl was looking, just for y'all. Just for y'all. I promise you. Wouldn't do it for nobody else. All right, so I'll let y'all go for the night. Love y'all. Appreciate you dearly, and until next time, say it with me. Bye. Good night, y'all.